Hi everyone, thanks so much for connecting with me, with the community at the same time. Now we have one hell of an amazing family now in the community. All of you coming back, helping me with, formulate ideas, prepare my videos actually, because I use a lot of your common sense, your ideals also. I have a lot to share, a lot to talk about. Secret projects. Dina, thanks again. Somebody asked me, Bruce, do you know a George Adamski? I had never even heard of him. Why? Because I'm so preoccupied on my findings. And as for me, I'm a little different than other ufologists. Ufologists often go into the field looking for spaceships. Me, I formulated these findings and I formulated the ideas around these findings that they were alien or human. I still don't know. I'm trying to work on that myself, but again, with my own footage. George Adamski, Dina mentioned him about me. Did he influence you in any way? Not at all. I'd never heard of him. And I went to look him up, and apparently he was very popular in the UFO culture and the areas where people were talking about flying saucers. But again, note that he was in the U.S. military. Now, every time we hear of somebody talking about a UFO craft and or that they've taken a ride in the UFO craft, why? And I'm right when I say this, why is it always someone who's with the American military? Navy in particularly. Ask yourself why. Bob Lazar talks about crafts at the Area 51, at S4. Talks about 9 crafts with 9 different technologies for lift, right? For anti-gravity. Who says that those saucers or crafts, which were very differently shaped than saucers, they weren't all saucer shaped, who says they weren't human secret projects, right? By Bob Lazar mentioning that they were alien UFOs, do you imagine what that would do to everyone else, the other countries, trying to see if they're using UFO technology? The States, they could turn around and say that it was an alien craft they found that was downed. In reality, it could have been the United States themselves doing these secret projects and missions to try to pass off for being aliens around Earth. I'm not saying aliens don't exist. Hear me out. I go through all theories. Even this theory, some of you will say, well, that's sort of descending what you're saying yourself about what's on the moon. I'm not here to cause lies or to make up fake scenarios. The logic is that it could all be human also. It would be highly top secret and hidden, because everyone that's coming out speaking about UFOs and having traveled in crafts and stuff are all people that worked for the military, probably working on these secret projects. If defense ministers are always coming out saying that there are alien ships out there, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying they're not telling the truth. I'm not saying they are, but it's the play of words that they take when they're talking about something. Just like in 47, Roswell, when they said that there was a flying saucer. Do you know that there was no flying saucer? I assure you, the information is there. Look it up. I took the time to do so. It was hopping, skipping across the sky like a round bowl, but it was not a round flying saucer or a bowl. It could have been a complete other shape and form. So the ideal of the flying round saucer, I believe, was to throw everyone off, or maybe to throw off a certain country. All this spying going on in the countries in the past, and even everything they told us about that, we have no idea. It's a lot more than that, I think. So here's an interesting thing. So there's Nevada, Area 51 over to the left, and over to the right there is Roswell. How long would it take a UFO to reach Roswell from Area 51? Theoretically. We're talking theories here. Now, what I'm getting people to say, I know there's something up there on the moon. 100%. Look, you're looking at them, right? If you think those are moon bugs, I'm not going to say anything against it. Maybe there are, but it looks to me like UFOs leaving the surface. Maybe nuclear UFOs. Maybe the nuclear projects are exactly what they're doing up there on the moon. They'd need water up there, hiding under the clouds. I've been showing a lot of proof on the moon. And who am I to think that if Bob Lazar wasn't proven right, that I would be proven right? My goal here isn't to get into the news. I know it probably won't. I could almost confirm that it won't. But I'll tell you what, I never depended on the news to get my information about Roswell and UFOs and Bob Lazar. I did my own research. That's what all of you are doing. That's what you all should do. So from that Roswell incident came out a decade, and even now, all these movies, and look at this article. This is Amazing Stories, a magazine edition that came out in 1957, where look what they're talking about. They're talking about, is the government hiding saucer facts? Outer space saucers a myth? The aliens are among us. This was in 1957, imagine. So let's go back even further than that, and anything that was publicly posted. Well, here's another magazine. It's Science Wonder Stories. They're showing a UFO with tentacles in 1929. It's a 25-cent edition, imagine. And they're talking about UFOs. Notice right there, they're asking, offering $300 in 1929 for a short story about the subject. The Avrocar. Have you, any of you ever heard of this vehicle? Have you ever heard of Avro Canada? Let's talk a bit about it. The Avrocar was the ultimate result of a series of blue skies research projects by designer nicknamed Jack Frost, really John Frost, who had joined Avro Canada in June, yes, 1947. Well, look at that. At Avro Canada, he had worked on the Avro CF-100, which you're looking at right now, before creating a research team known as the Special Projects Group, SPG. So this is our Jack Frost. He demonstrates the Coanda effect, pressurized airflow that you could see coming out of the red tube and over top of the object, and then over the top, of the metal disc. So the Coanda effect makes the air stick to the disc, bending down at the edges to flow vertically. This airflow supports the disc in the air. So think of it. This Mr. Frost was doing these experimentations in 1947 at a company called Avro Canada. So I mean, that disc-shaped object itself that I showed you, the C-100, actually even looks like one of the Roswell discs. I'm just throwing stuff out there where people, imagine in 1947, people did not know that secret project was underway, right? Because that would have changed a whole lot of things in 1947. Seeing Roswell, they were already doubting the government in 1947. You can tell by those popular magazines that I've shared with you that right off the bat, the theory was that's where it started. People were like, maybe they were thinking the governments were the ones doing the secret projects. Like I'm thinking myself. Sure, I believe in aliens. I believe they can exist. But I do believe there was a manipulation theoretically here on Earth with some of the things that were disclosed and declassified about UFOs, maybe in the goal to throw off another country. You cannot rule that out for sure. I mean, think of it. Those of you telling me that there's going to be red flag events. Yeah, right, exactly. But, again, I'm going to repeat, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a red flag event. Take into consideration the possibilities, but don't rule anything out. Look at these little lights at the end of Mare Serenitatis going to these large constructed like lines that go into the ground in a circle, by the way. Makes no sense. UFOs exist. They're on the moon. And the difference with me as a ufologist, the study that I do in ufology, is that I don't have a card that says I work for a space association in ufology. I'm okay with that. The only people that ever told me the truth were people that were not working with the government. I found a lot of truth on YouTube, a lot of positive feedback with people's researches, and I'm sure that, there's a lot of information out there. We don't necessarily have to depend on the government. And, just keep an open mind. That's what I've always told everybody. Thank you so much. We party all night long. Aliens
Aliens mining. They're up there sitting down in that pontoon. They drop everybody off in their belly party. But they coming here so soon. Yeah, aliens are up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are mining on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.